currently listening and give me little prompts. You got to do this, got to do that. So, by the way, apologies for the face fur. This is for Movember. So I am doing this for the month. So yeah, I think it suits. My wife's not so convinced. We shall see. But I wanted to quickly open up with, first of all, saying thank you all for joining today's webinar. There's a couple of bits I want to go through, which I think will be useful. So we're going to go through the usual bits, just explaining what white label is, and the nuts and bolts in terms of how it works, which I think is always a useful opening in terms of the conversation. And then I wanted to go through, there's a couple of evolutions and changes that we've made within the business that I think is again worth discussing for those of you guys who are existing white labels. And then we're going to go through some content today. One of the bits of content I want to go through is how you actually sell the individual products. So the basis of how white label works is you will all have your own clients that you're working with. You will offer them a service that fulfills a problem that they currently have. Once you fulfill that problem for them, you get paid. That's basically how that works. Nuts and bolts of it. Same as any business, whether you're running a mortgage brokerage, an estate agency, an accounting firm, whatever that is, it's knowing how to be able to propose the product to that client and assist them if they have the problem of needing that product, handing it over to the team who will pick that up and then basically make you some money while at the same time solving the problem for your client. That's the nuts and bolts of it. So to explain what white label is, for those of you that do not know what white label is, I'm actually just going to share my screen a little bit, so hopefully you guys can see. I'll give it a second for it to pop through. Okay, awesome. So My Property Marketplace is our own marketplace. Obviously, it forms within the My Property group. What white label property is basically a platform where we utilize the stock that we have. So we are the largest off-market agency, I believe, in the UK. And off-market, what I mean by that is properties are not on Rightmove, they're not on Zoopla, they're not on the market. These are all direct to seller. Now, the fact that they're direct to seller means that generally you're going to be able to get a better deal. You're less likely to get gazumped, and you're less likely to have any hassles from sellers being awkward. Unlike on Rightmove, the benefit to the seller is that they get to list a property where they don't get boards outside the house, they don't get dozens of people traipsing through the house scaring the tenant, and they are much less likely to have a tenant leave whilst they're trying to sell a house, meaning that they would have to pay the mortgage. Okay, without the tenant leaving, obviously, then it means that the mortgage is paid by the rent received by the tenant, and the tenant will have a seamless transition without even realizing there's a change of ownership until ownership has changed. All right, so that's the benefit of off-market as to why we do it the way we do it. Now, how we operate is we currently have somewhere around 250, 300 properties, all direct to seller currently listed on the site. And you see the properties here. So as an example, if you come through, you see lovely listing information. You've got nice property descriptions. You've got all your financials. Oh, let me unzoom that. So you'll see your financials change based on changing the criteria within here. It changes all your calculations for you. You have all your basic property information, which any investor would like to know. Comparables, so they know what's sold within the area, so it gives them a good understanding of the value, what's sold on the same street, what's for sale, and then what's for rent. Sometimes, because this is plots, that's why, annoyingly. Okay, you can see on the map what it is. So this is like a Google map, so you can zoom in and out. Local stations, local schools, and then other listings within the area that you may also be interested in. Okay, so this is basically the listing site. Now, how it works as a white label is we create, if you look here, as to what this looks like, we create a duplicate for you under your own branding. Okay, and so as far as your partners know, it's your properties, your site. Okay, and you'll notice they look very, very similar. Okay, so that's the whole premise of the white label. So let me just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so that's where that's come from. Oh, damn it. Okay, so the benefit of having a white label obviously means that you will immediately have credibility for any of your clients whenever you propose properties, they take a look at your site, they'll very quickly realize, if they're an experienced property investor, that it is very impressive what you've done. So the vast majority of deal sources, or basically property agents, they will have access to a handful of deals at most. The very good ones will have access to a number of deals, but they will generally have access to those deals through other people as opposed to direct to seller. Now, you can relatively confidently say that you have access to hundreds of off-market properties, okay, and you are basically direct to seller, basically being the keyword here. And if they ask what that means, just say it's one person removed, and that's pretty much it. Now, this gives you the full spectrum of the number of deals on the market, number one, but it also then gives you a lot of credibility with your buyers, who will immediately be impressed with what you've done, because there's very few people in this industry who have access to a lot of deals like this. The other thing it does is it gives you a nice place where people can go in, and if they are not registered on your site, so as an example like this one here, when they try and take a look at any of the information, so maybe they're looking through and they go, oh, I really like the look of this, it's got an 8% yield, it's in an area I'm interested in buying in, and they click on it, okay? Oh, yeah, let me try that again. There's something I was trying to show you there. So if they click on the property, then it'll ask them to log in or register. So if they are not already registered, it'll then ask them to sign up. They click on sign up, they put in their information. Once they're registered, it'll then take them through to the property. But what that does is, as soon as that information is registered, it then gets emailed to you. So now you have their contact details, and you have what's called a warm or hot lead. So all you got to do is drop them a message. Hey, it's Dave here from Get Ground, or from Trust Bricks, or from My Property Marketplace. I see you've just registered on the site. You're interested in looking at some property. Out of interest, what is it you're looking for in an investment? Now, what this does is this then opens up that dialogue or that communication where you can build that relationship and assist them in building their portfolio. Okay, and that's kind of the big advantage in terms of how this works. Now, out of interest, for those of you that are currently on the call, so let me just stop sharing. Let me just double check. So I'm going to be asking a couple of questions. I'd love if you guys can respond via chat. Makes life a little bit easier for me. So out of interest, for those of you on this call, who has a lot of people selling properties, or you have a lot of properties available to you to be able to sell? If that's you, just give me a quick I in the chat. So give me an I in the chat if you have a lot of people interested in selling property, so you have access to a lot of properties for sale, not on the white label, obviously. I just want to check in. So there's a good few of you on the call. So if that's you, give me a bit of a nudge. Okay, very few. I'm pleasantly surprised, shall we say? Okay, and then out of the rest of you, who has access to people interested in investing in property or potential buyers? That's you. Give me a yes in the chat. Just sort of check in. Okay. So got hands up, thumbs up. Okay, interesting. So we've got a lot of you guys who've got access to a lot of buyers interested in buying. Now, do you think it would be useful to be able to present those effectively through a nice website that they can go to and they can go and find properties they may be interested in? If that's a yes, give me a thumbs up. Okay. So, of course, the answer is yes, because you want to help them. So, for me, the basic premise in terms of where you're at is you'll find many sources have many different strengths. So many property people have many different strengths. So some are much better at finding buyers and some are much better at finding sellers. That's what it is. So if you're very good at finding sellers, you need to be speaking to Joe on our team and connect Joe with the seller, and then we can get the properties listed live. And basically how it works from a financial standpoint is we get the property listed. If it gets sold, and we're selling about 30, 35 a month, so we're selling a good number of properties every month. So if that property gets sold, okay, we will charge the seller a 2% fee or whatever fee that we agree, okay? And then we'll split that fee with you 50-50 for having brought that seller to us. Okay, so as an example, if it's a £500,000 house, the fee is £10,000. We both make £5,000 a piece. Okay, my maths is correct. I believe that's correct. Now, vice versa, if you're better at finding buyers, okay, so you have a network of people interested in investing or interested in buying, okay, we charge a 2% fee to the buyer for agreeing and purchasing a property when they move into legals. So whenever they agree a property, they say, yes, I want to have this, we'll charge them a 2% fee, which is standard for the industry. They get the deal they want, the seller gets to sell the property they want, and of course you get paid in return 50% of whatever that sourcing fee is in return for helping them find an investment property. So there's money to be made. So this is your basic sourcing model on both sides of the coin. Now, where this gets a little bit more interesting is, of course, making a purchase or buying an investment property is a relatively big decision. Okay, so it's a big move. But if you have people who are already property investors, is it fair to say that they probably need to refinance at some point, or they may need some refurbishment at some point, or they may need property management at some point, or they may need accounting at some point, right? So there's a whole bunch of different services that are required from landlords to be able to operate within the industry, okay, on an ongoing basis, or insurance, right? And whatever those services are, they need to go somewhere to go and get those services done. Ultimately, they're going to need to speak to a broker. They're going to need to speak to a solicitor if they need to if sell or refinance. They need to speak to an insurance broker to get the insurance done. They need to speak to a builder to get refurbishment or maintenance done. They need to speak to a property manager or a lettings agency if they want to get property management done. Okay, so these are all different people they have to speak to. So basically, you've got kind of two options. You can say, okay, great, good luck. Let me know if you need to buy or sell. Or you can say, I'll tell you what, if you need a good mortgage broker, I've got a really good guy you should speak to. His name's Wayne, let me connect you. Okay, and then Wayne will be able to assist them in getting brokerage, getting finance for their house, and the commissions that are paid from that, you will make 50% of that. Okay, so you're making money for basically solving a necessity problem that somebody has to do anyway. So kind of what I'm trying to say is there's a whole bunch of different services that every landlord needs, and you're assisting them in delivering on those services. Okay, that's ultimately what it is. You're sitting as the middleman, referring different people to different places. Now, something that we've built recently, and it's not in action as of yet, so please don't stress too much about using it, but this is something that we're literally doing at the minute for partners. I just have to find the right page. That's not that one. Bear with me 2 secs. Okay, so. Okay, here we go. So you as a white label partner will have people who are interested in these services. And what's the easiest way that you could refer that? Well, you can send emails, you can do all that stuff, which is fine and it works and it's great. But the reality is you as a white label partner want to make sure that things are done very quickly. So the easiest way for you to do that is you basically put in your name, so whatever your white label is. Now, whether you're a white label partner or not, you can use this. Okay, and this is worth noting. But obviously, if you're a white label partner, it works a lot better. I will go through white label, what that costs and stuff in a minute for those of you that want to know. But let's just say I want to refer someone. So I put in my name. His name is Joe Blogs. His phone number is whatever that is. And his email address is a@bcd.com. Obviously, that's not a real person, anyone who's curious. And then the service that they want. So they're interested in getting refurbishment done on their house. Any additional information? A good friend of mine with a property in London needing refurbishment. Okay, done. Submit. Okay, as soon as that's done, that then pings through onto our system. And then our build team will immediately reach out to them, but it's tracked as your referral within the system. Okay, so I've just received a very lovely email on my inbox. Everything's been it's got all the contact details, who's been referred, yada, yada. So it has all the relevant information so that we can then track and manage that referral for you. Okay, and we'll be able to keep you up to date as to whether the referred client has said yes or no, etc. So Rodri, yes. And as to your question, so our build teams are nationwide. So we currently have 60 build teams currently running pretty much across all of England and Wales. Okay, we have nobody in Scotland at present, but we can get access to people in Scotland if needs be. Fortunately, the building contracting partner that we have is huge. So yeah, in terms of the build teams, no problem. We can help, we can quote, we can get all that done real quick. And the point is, everything we're doing is becoming a lot more slick, okay, which is really where the value add is. So out of interest, let me just quickly ask the question, just to make sure this is made a little bit easier. So on the call, who is currently not already a white label partner? If that's you, just give me a yes if you're not already a white label partner. This will dictate how the rest of this conversation will go for the next 5 or so minutes. If you're not already a white label partner, because if everyone on this call is already a white label partner, then there's a whole bunch of stuff that I can miss out, which is why I'm asking the question. Okay, Rodri, awesome. Terry, not a partner either. Okay, Javier, also not a partner. Okay, cool. So there's a few of you that are not white label partners. Okay, do you guys understand the value in becoming a white label partner? So the value in terms of having your own website, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so I don't need to labor on that. So in terms of how it works to become a white label partner and what you get, which I think is always the question people want to know. Basically, we will build a site for you. It takes normally up to about a week to have a site live for you on your domain with your logo, your color scheme, all that wonderful stuff. So it looks like your site. If you already have an existing website, basically we create a page that gets bolted onto your site. So I'll show you here so you can then see. Okay, so if I go to Minahan, I think this is it. Hopefully I got it right. Okay, give me 2 secs. I will confirm exactly what the website is. I was trying to give you a perfect example, but unfortunately we have a lot of white label partners, so remembering all of them isn't always the easiest. Give me 2 secs. Sorry, bless me. Group.co.uk. There we go. That's why. Okay, minahan.co.uk. Okay, so this is Jen Minahan, old client of ours and white label partner. So this is her site. It's really cool. She runs an agency up Burnley Way. They do a whole bunch of stuff. Sorry, page is taking a second to load. You know, they do a whole bunch of stuff, which is really good. So that she's already got a good client base in the property industry. And basically, she was missing a trick because there's a whole bunch of services that we offer, as well as the ability to sell deals to her client. So this is an older white label. It's currently being updated, so don't stress too much in terms of the fact that it looks slightly different, but you'll get the view. So she has her own existing website already. What we've done is taken the color scheme, the branding, the logo, etc., and then we've loaded it in. So then the actual page ties in, and it's a properties hyphen page. Okay, so if you have an existing website, we can actually tie that in directly, so you don't need to worry too much about, oh, well, I have a website, is it going to work? You know, how does that work? So we can build that in, and basically all we do is we register a domain, properties hyphen, and then you just create a button on your site that links through to that, and then the home button on there links back to your main site. So as far as your clients know, it's all part of the same website. In terms of the cost of doing that, which is always the question that comes up, so we do that for free. It costs you nothing to get your site live. All that we ask in terms of the partnership, because this is ultimately a partnership, so we work as 50-50 partners on everything. So if you bring listings, you bring sales, you bring any clients for any of the different products, everything that we make from that client is 50-50. Okay, and that's basically how it works. It just becomes an even partnership. The cost of us doing that is very expensive. It's £50 a month. That's it. So what that £50 a month cost covers, that basically covers your domain. It covers your site. So we have AWS, so everything's built in the background. It's actually very cleverly done by the team. It's cost us a lot of money to be able to build the technology as we have it. And it basically covers the maintenance of that domain. So £50 a month is super cheap, as I'm sure you'll appreciate, to look like a very, very high-level professional property person. Okay, so if you're interested in being a white label partner, it's really easy. You just go to whitelabelproperty.com, click get started, sign up, takes you 2 minutes. There's no minimum term, so you never have to worry about, oh, well, they're going to tie me in for the next 10 years at £50 a month. There's no minimum term. You want to cancel, just drop us a note, we'll cancel that day. So literally no questions asked. The premise is we want to ensure that you make as much money as possible. If you think and understand about how our business model works, is the more money you make, the more money we make. That's basically how the whole thing works from end to end. So if we can help you sell more properties or help you bring more buyers or help you bring more clients for any of the products, we will do everything in our power to do that, because the more of that you do, the more money we both make. So we 100% have a vested interest in making sure you're successful. To be able to help with that, we've got a whole bunch of other bits and pieces that we can do called Digital Plus, which I'll go through with you in a second. There's a question. So the properties that you have, is it usually only the ones we refer to you and the only ones we refer that show on our particular website, or the whole pool of properties you have? So every property gets shown on every site. Okay, because the premise is if you bring us a property, we're going to want to ensure that that property is sold as quickly as possible. And the easiest way for us to do that is to get that listed across all white label sites. So we currently have 180 white label partners, currently in 18 countries and 5 continents. So we have a lot of partners all over the world, but it's all UK property. Okay, so all the properties on the site is all UK property. There's no new build and development. So it's all what we call PRS property. So like secondary homes, residential, buy-to-let, HMO, that kind of stuff. So that's what we have across all the sites. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. By the way, Cavi, a really good question. In terms of the structure, in terms of how the fees work, everything's a 50-50. We normally charge 2% to a seller, 2% to a buyer. If it's through brokerage, there's a normal brokerage fee, which is normally 1% of the loan with a minimum of 500. And then any procurement fees we get from the lender, again, that gets split with you. So that money comes into the broker gives us 40%, and then we split that 40% with you 50-50. With the refurbishment, it's there's a 10% project management fee built into the cost of all the projects. Very, very well priced, I will say, on all the refurbishments as well. You're not going to get, the crazy high prices, because that's not how we work. It's all very fairly priced. The way in which it works is the person who's running that business, a guy called Jamie, he gets 50% of the project management, and the other 50% is split between us and you. So you make 2.5% of the build cost, we make 2.5% of the build cost, so it's 50-50. Property management, we run our own property management company as part of everything else we do. You get 2 months worth of property management fees as your referral fee. It's our way of saying thanks. Now, one of the other things which is always worth mentioning is if you bring other partners to us, so if you've got somebody who also signs up as a white label partner, we'll pay £100 just to say thanks, just because I like to make sure people are rewarded and appeased for the work that's gone in. But more importantly, you'll also make 10% of their lifetime revenues. Okay, so you make a reoccurring income from whatever that person makes for the lifetime of you being a white label partner and then being a partner. Okay, which is, for me, it's a pretty good deal. So you're incentivized to bring as many partners to the table as you possibly can. So that's the nuts and bolts in terms of how that all works. In terms of where is the affiliate link? Really good question, Leon. So I will drop the affiliate link in, if you give me a few seconds. So you have to sign up. It's a Viral Loops. So Viral Loops is basically an affiliate system that you can use. Label referral sign up. So whitelabelproperty.com/referral-program. So I'll drop it into the chat now. So if you click on that, it should work. And then you hit start referring, and it'll ask you to fill in the form. Once you fill in the form, it will immediately give you, it will immediately give you a code. That's a URL. So it's like a web address. Copy that, save it in your notes somewhere, because that's the link you'll be giving to people. Anyone who signs up through there, they're marked as your referral. Okay, so that's basically how it works. It's really, really useful. And then I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that's worth you noting. In terms of anything else within the white label, basically the nuts and bolts of it is we will try and help you make as much money as possible, because the more you make, the more we make. Now, the other product I wanted to discuss with you guys as to how we can help. So there's many white label partners who seem to think that by creating a website, then people will just miraculously turn up at the website. Unfortunately, that's not really how websites work, and many people are the best kept secret on the internet. So what we like to do is try and find a way in which we can help you make more money by bringing more clients to you. Now, obviously, you all already have your own black book, your people, your network, your database of people you already know. You'll also have a network of people that you can go out and meet, whether it be at networking events, whether it be, at the golf club, whether it be at, I don't know, drinks events, wherever you meet different people, these become your potential clients. And what you need to do is get their details to be able to create a follow-up process. And I'll go through how that looks in a second. What do you get when you refer them to you through our link? So Leon, what you get is you get £100, first of all, is us saying thanks. It's simple. And then what you also get is 10% of whatever earnings they make throughout the life of our relationship. So as an example, let's just say they sell a deal where they make a fee of £5,000. You'll make £500, even though you've done absolutely zero on that deal. Okay, so the more they do, the more money you make. So you're incentivized to try and help them make more money as well as you make more money, because you'll make more money by them making more money. And likewise, their clients, their friends, their contacts will then get more deals and build their portfolios, and everybody wins. That's kind of the incentive. So hopefully that answers your question, Leon. Really good question. So yeah, so what we like to do is, and this is something that we're in the midst of launching at the minute. It hasn't gone live, but I think I spoke about it last time as well. But you'll start to get a little bit more in terms of a flavor of what we do. So obviously your white label website. So we used to charge £1,000 for that. We don't charge anything. We absorb the cost of that because we want more white label sites. More partners equals more sales equals more money for everybody involved. That's the basis of how this works. Now, some of the other bits that we do, and this is the stuff that's worth noting, and obviously more than happy to jump on a one-to-one or connect you with Ellis who can help you do this. But if you don't already have a logo and branding and all that sort of stuff, and you don't want to make one yourself, you don't know what you're doing, we can connect you with Ellis who can take care of this. Okay, and he creates a logo and branding pack, and you see we run everything through Go Cardless, which is nice and simple. Or if you want to speak to somebody, you can just send a WhatsApp and you can have a chat, and you can have that full conversation. Okay, but logo and branding pack, hopefully, there's lots of information in here. Yeah, there's FAQs. Right, we're building stuff out. Just curious. So basically, that's creating a logo for you, creating branding that works for you as to what you want. Custom built logo. You're not just talking like a little AI crappy one. It's a really good one. It'll be exactly what you want, and the team will help get that built and designed. Okay, next thing is a custom WordPress site. So obviously you have your base white label site. So as soon as you sign up, you'll get one of these, which comes with this main page here, okay, with a nice instruction video, useful information, step-by-step. It even comes with built-in testimonials, because these are testimonials of people that have actually used the service. Now, they don't necessarily say they've worked with you, but it's testimonials of people that have used the service. So it's all 100% legit. And then, yeah, it's just a nice site for people to go to. So this is what you get as your base. Okay, if instead of having this as a front page, you wanted your own custom page, then basically what you would do is you'd go through here and you would go custom WordPress site. And that would be a completely separate site, would look absolutely amazing, fully designed. So the guy that built this, it would be the same guy. So you can understand, obviously, the guy's pretty shit hot at what he does. And he will be able to build you out a really nice site that says what you want it to say, has all the information and content and details that you want on there, which will be a lot more reflective of who you are as a person and your personal brand. Okay, so that's a custom site. Now, if you want your site to be easily found on socials, so what the term is SEO. So SEO stands for search engine optimization, for anyone who doesn't know. So as an example, if I go into Google, okay, and then I search for white label property. Okay, I want to know that I'm coming right up there, right at the top. okay, or if I search for, I don't know, so just giving you an example. So these are like my property group. So we haven't done a lot of SEO work with these sites because these are a couple of relatively newer sites. Okay, but you get the idea. Okay, and then if you do property investment platform, haven't actually checked this before, so I thought this would be interesting. UK. So maybe this is what you want to be coming up for whenever you do in here, and then you might come up as one of these sites. Okay, and with your SEO. So the premise is whenever you do it, whenever you get your SEO done, how SEO works is Google looks at all of the information across all of your site, and then it moves your page around in terms of rankings based on the information that's in there. So if you have a lot of talk and conversation about, you know, investing in London and discounted properties and these sort of useful bits of information, and you have it laid out in the right format, then Google will rank you higher and higher on the SEO rankings. Now, it's not an overnight fix. It takes time for SEO to catch up, but basically you can get 5 pages built for you that are SEO heavy that will then rank your site higher and higher within specific searches. Okay, another question, is it only B&B property that you sell on the website or any property? So we sell any, in terms of investment property, so that's what we focus on is investment property. So some is discounted, some is high yield, some is just basic buy-to-lets, some is HMO, so house, multiple like shared housing, some of it's service accommodation. You've got a bit of a mixed bag in terms of what we actually sell on the site. Also, if I refer someone who has a lot of properties that they can post on the website, what do you get for it? So if you refer them and you're a white label partner, okay, and you help operate, basically if they're operating as an agent and a direct seller, you will get 10% of whatever they earn. So any of the properties that sell, you get 10% of whatever they earn. Also, if they sign up as a white label partner, we'll pay you £100 straight off. As soon as they register, £100 to you, thank you very much. Okay, now whether you want to give it to them and say, oh, you know, you can run, etc., then that's completely down to you. How much does the SEO service cost? So SEO is £500, so it's £100 a page. Okay, obviously it takes time. Now, please understand, all of these costs are super cheap for what the actual product is. For anybody that works in the tech space will know these prices are very cheap. The reason we do it cheap is because we've hired the marketer and he does the work for us, and we have to pay him the extra for the time that he does. Okay, so whatever he's charging here is pretty much what we're paying him. Okay, just so you have an understanding. So it's all very, very inexpensive. So £100 a page to be able to create a fully contented out, written up, drafted and delivered SEO page, £100 per page, 5 pages, and £100 for every page thereafter. SEO, again, is not a quick fix. It takes time, but SEO can be done very wrong or very right. Unfortunately, you've got a lot of people who promise SEO, but it's terrible. This is a guy who's done a lot of SEO work within very high-level corporate. He's extremely experienced and knows exactly what he's doing. Okay, good question there. Right, so CRM. So for anyone who doesn't know, a CRM is what we call a contact management tool. Okay, so a CRM could be something like HubSpot or Salesforce or Brevo or MailChimp. Basically, it's a place where as people register, their information gets put into your database of people, kind of like a phone book, but you have the ability to send out emails or text messages or call them direct from that service to make it much easier for you to be able to track any conversations you've had with them. You know, so Dave Smith, I had a call with Dave, spoke to him on the 7th of January. He said, speak to me again in March. So I've left a note and I've created a reminder for me to speak to him in March. Then in March, you get your reminder come up and then you give them a call. So it connects your entire system, simplifies everything, and then enables you also to send out blanket emails to across your entire database, looking very professional. Okay, so some of the emails you would have seen from us, you will see obviously the emails are pretty professional. That's because you're currently in our CRM system. And if you come direct from Eventbrite, you are now in our CRM system. Okay, and you're going to be receiving emails from us about future events and conversations and how we can work together. Susie's asked, can you provide tenants for a HMO? How much is your commission? Also, can you manage it if I need management team? So in answer to your question, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so yes, we do tenant find. We generally utilize, so we're a national lettings agency. We launched last April. We currently have 180 properties, about 450 units or rooms under management. It's growing very quickly. The team is very experienced and very good. We utilize local professionals for tenant find because they know the areas better than we know the areas. Everything else we run. So we have our own maintenance team. They do their inspections, they do their check-ins, they do all of those wonderful bits and pieces. We also do all the rent collection, all the client management, all the general maintenance and wear and tear. So we run everything. The only thing we utilize local professionals for is tenant find. And we just, whatever they charge, that's whatever the fee is. It's normally between 2 and 4 weeks worth of rent for a tenant find, which is fairly standard within the industry, as I'm sure you know. And then, yes, we can manage. We're managing and we're actively onboarding more clients. So we're very, very fairly priced at 10%. Okay, that includes VAT. Well, technically, we're not VAT registered on the lettings business because, like I say, it's been running a year. But yeah, so yeah, happy to assist with that. When we go VAT registered, we will be absorbing the VAT, but that's a longer conversation. But yeah, so if you want some help with that, more than happy to assist. Obviously, if you have any clients, likewise, nice and easy. But really good question there. So continuing on from the CRM, so basically we utilize a service called Brevo. So Brevo costs around £40 a month. Okay, so obviously we're not making anything here. So basically, if you want a CRM setup, we will load in a whole bunch of emails for you. So whenever anybody registers on your white label site, they will receive follow-up emails. Hey, huge congratulations, really looking forward to working together. Thanks for registering. You know, another email going, hey, so obviously you registered on the site. Would love to understand a little bit more about what you're looking to do, what you're looking to invest in. You know, please feel free to drop in a booking a call here on my booking link, or drop me an email or a WhatsApp. This is my phone number. And there's a whole series of different emails that then follow that email, follow that registration. So people get nurtured through and have a lot of touch points with you, which makes them much more likely to want to buy. Also, their data is stored and registered within your database. So your Brevo account, it'll be your account we'll help set up, and we'll load it in. So we'll do all the setup. We'll load it in with all the emails and all the content and all the automation for you straight off the get-go. So we charge basically a £400 setup because I've got to pay the team to do that. That's essentially what that is. So that's CRM and automated email setup. Next, paid search. So this, if you're already established, you know what you're doing, you know how to sell, you know what your business is, and basically all you need is more leads, then I would be looking at either paid search or paid socials. Okay, paid search and paid socials, basically there's a setup fee because somebody's going to create all the landing pages, they're going to create all the automated funnels, they're going to create all the there's a whole bunch of questions and forms and stuff for people to fill in to ensure that the leads you get out at the end are qualified leads as opposed to just a random who's accidentally clicked the button. Okay, to ensure that your time is most useful. So there's an initial setup cost, and then the guy who runs this charges a fee to be able to run that and maintain that and ensure that's running through. You've got your leads farming through, and then they're constantly refining the process to improve the quality and volume of leads. Okay, so that's what they do as part of their monthly management. And then on top of that, you just pay whatever your marketing spend is. So you may spend £1,000, £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 on marketing. But this is when you're up and running and established and you know that you can sell and you're doing well. If you're not quite there yet, it's not a problem. My suggestion would be let's get you set up with SEO initially. You know, get your site live, get some SEO, get your site looking really good. Okay, that's your first step. Once you're established, then we can start to run more advertising, socials, media. And in terms of your general costings, to give you an understanding, a normal, like a cash buying company, they'll be spending anywhere between 30 and 100,000 a month on normal marketing spend. Now, obviously, most people that doesn't work. And the point is you need your business to be making enough money to justify paying for your marketing, to go back in, to then increase the amount of money you're making. So I wouldn't rush into this unless you're already well established. Compliance pack. So this is doing all the bits that you legally need to do to be a deal sourcer, or technically it's an estate agent, if you want to be specific in terms of what it is. We assist by doing that for you. So within there, it's registering with the property redress scheme. It's registering with the Information Commission's Office. It's registering for professional indemnity insurance. And it's also registering for AML, so anti-money laundering. Now, AML is the one that most sources forget to do. We actually do that all within £1,000 a year. So your property redress scheme is normally 450, 500 a year. Your information commissions office, that normally comes in at about £50 a year. Your professional indemnity insurance, about £250 a year. And your AML is normally a couple of £100 a month. Okay, now we will take on the AML because we're already running it, and that's kind of how we do it. So you can understand that we're already taking care of that within the price. So ultimately, you're saving money by doing it this way. The big question is when you do that, and my suggestion is always do it once you've sold a deal. It's not a policed industry. If you haven't sold a deal, there's nobody who's going to complain about you. If you sold a deal, then somebody may complain. So once you receive some income, then use that to pay for your compliance pack. And it should ultimately come in technically free because it's coming out of your first deal's profits. If you can't sell, you've got leads, you've got clients, you've got everything else coming through, you've got contacts, but you don't know how to sell, one of our team can do the sales for you. We just have to pay them. So we just, instead of working on a 50-50, it's an 80-20. We pay them the 30%, you make 20%, we still make our 50. And then last but not least, if you want to be getting some personalized one-to-one coaching or training, obviously for those of you that know my background, know I've been doing coaching and training for pretty much a decade now. Been working with hundreds and hundreds of people on a one-to-one basis. Used to run a property training company called Katana Training. We've trained literally tens of thousands from in front of the room, spoken on stages in 28 countries, and this is kind of what we did, where we worked with people building portfolios, teaching them how to invest, teaching them how to source, teaching them how to raise money. And that's basically, so we're running a mastermind. This is new, so if that's something you're interested in, all you got to do is drop me a note and we can pick that up. But this is the digital product that we're in the midst of releasing. It's not live yet, so again, please bear with us. But that's how we help you as white label partners to sell more deals and make more money. Okay, as we essentially open the doors to all the stuff that we do, to be able to generate the leads that we get, to be able to sell the deals that we sell, to be able to make the money we make. Okay, and everything's done in partnership. So our team is 100% here to support. You ultimately get kind of like a free coach. So we run, obviously, these webinars every couple of weeks. We also run face-to-face meetups. So either in our office here at London Victoria or in a bar or restaurant nearby, where you can come in, network, converse, but more importantly, get to pick our brains and ask us whatever you want to know, whatever you need to know, whatever sticking point you have, come and ask us, and we're happy to assist with essentially helping you sort that out. And ultimately go make more money and have more fun. So look, that's sort of the white label as an entire, and that's sort of how we can assist you guys. Does that answer any questions you guys have that are not yet white label partners? Just drop me a quick note if that answers the questions you have. And if it doesn't, what other questions do you have on the white label? And then once you give me that, I can answer those questions. And then we can move on to the last little bit that I wanted to sort of cover off, which is talking a little bit more in depth about how you sell the individual products to be able to, or basically help your friends. That's the nuts and bolts of it. There's a, sorry. Oh, there we go. Sorry, neck was really stiff. A common, okay, so am I still running in-person meetings when you're in Dubai? I would like to invite people. So we're going to be in Dubai from the 27th. Monica, when do we land in Dubai? When do we land in Dubai? Okay, so I'll be in there from the 28th till about the 2nd or 3rd. So look, more than happy to have morning meetings with people. If you've got people that you think would be great to meet, 100% would love to meet in the mornings. Ideally not Monday morning, I will be recovering. So we're going to be doing golf on Thursday when we land, rugby sevens on Friday and Saturday, but they're in the afternoons. Mickey Beach on Sunday, recovery Monday, and then flying out Tuesday. So we'll probably be at the pool all day Monday. But look, if you've got clients for us to meet 100% in the mornings, particularly Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm happy to meet them in the morning. I think, you know, would be lovely. And obviously, if you're there, would love to meet you there. But yeah, anyone you have that you think would be great for us to meet, I'm glad to meet them there. Likewise, if you got, or if any of you are ever in London and you're anywhere near London, Victoria, and you want to come grab a cup of coffee, I'm always in for a cup of coffee, as is the example here, my cold coffee that I bought an hour and a half ago that I still haven't drunk. But yeah, Martin, how would you say is the best way to match a deal with an investor? Do you just send them a link and scroll, or if you already have clients, deal criteria and package? So really, really good question here, Martin. Thank you very much. So the website, and this is something very much worth noting. So the website is there more as a lead generator and a place to be able to take payments. Okay, that's kind of what the website primarily operates as, and its credibility ultimately. So if you've got somebody who you don't really have their details in your database, and or you don't feel like the relationship is there where they feel like you are credible enough or anything like that, the website's a great place to be sending people, because they will then go onto the website. They will no doubt see something they're interested in, click on it, have to register, and now you have their details. They're in your database. There's a whole retention chain that happens off the back of that. Okay, so the website's great for that. Awesome for the credibility. And also, whenever they want a deal, you can send them a link specifically to that deal where they can go and reserve and take that deal off the market, and they can then have that deal. It gets taken off all the sites simultaneously. We then organize viewings, bookings, all that sort of stuff off the back of there, which is awesome. And we can go through that process a little bit more in depth as well. Martin, I believe you've just signed up as a white label as well. So I'll make sure that you're getting a lot of information off the back of that as well. And please feel free to drop me a note. More than happy to have a call. But yeah, the team will be able to assist in terms of the process. Hopefully you've got all the video training as well, which is a little bit outdated now, because we keep evolving the business really quickly. But hopefully you've got that content as well, which will give you a bit of a nuts and bolts in terms of the process. But in terms of an answer for your question, personally, I would be understanding the genuine problem of the person, not the problem they say they have. So as an example, if you speak to an investor, you go, hey man, what are you looking for in a deal? And they go, oh, well, I want X, Y, Z in Manchester. Okay, well, the reality is just because they're saying that that's what they want doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they need. So rather than taking the approach of trying to shortcut the conversation and ask them what they want, what I always prefer to do is try and get an understanding in terms of who they are and what they need. So what are they looking to achieve from investing in property? So something to make note of, and you can utilize this for your marketing going forward as well, is there is only 3 reasons people invest in property. And this is sales training 101 when it comes to investing in property. So 100% worth making a note for those of you that are interested in this industry and interested in selling. Okay, so what people are looking for in property is either to create an income. So financial security is the first one. Second one is wealth. So basically becoming wealthy. And the third one is leaving a legacy. So financial security, future planning, so wealth planning or retirement planning, and legacy. That's your 3 main reasons why people are investing. Now, until you understand which of those 3 the person you're speaking to falls into, there is no way to know what deal they want. Okay, and what someone says they want isn't necessarily what they need. So as an example, you may say, well, what are you looking for? They go, oh, I'm looking for a high yield property in Manchester. And you go, okay, great. Why? Oh, well, because I've heard that that's a good thing to do. Okay, the vast majority of investors, when they are relatively new, don't really know why they're investing in certain strategies. They don't fully understand what the benefit is of those investment strategies. So when they tell you what they want, what they're really saying is, well, this is what I've heard, or this is what I believe, or this is what I think. Now, the issue with that is whenever you then present them with a deal that falls in alignment with that, they have no real hook as to why they want or need that deal. And therefore, they are much less likely to want to make that final push or decision, particularly newer investors who have, say, less than 5 investment properties. Okay, so to be able to get those over the line, you need to understand what it is they need. Okay, so as an example, if they go, well, I'm just trying to look after my financial position and make sure, I'm financially secure because I want to get out of my job and I'm not convinced that everything's working out in the company. Whatever the conversation is, you then understand that their need is cash flow. And then whenever you present a deal to them, you are presenting the deal from the place of what they need, as opposed to presenting a deal to them based on, what they asked for. There's the amount of people that will ask for a deal not knowing why they want that deal. And then when you present the deal and you go, okay, great, it's time to pull the trigger. Are you ready to go? They're like, well, I'm not sure. Because they aren't really sure if that's what they really want. Okay. Whereas if you understand what they need, then whenever you present a deal, you go, okay, great. So this property will help you create your financial security and enable you to get out of your job sooner as you would like to do. Are you interested? Now, you haven't asked them, are you interested in buying this property? You've then said, are you interested in creating an income that gets you closer to no longer having to be in your job and creating your financial security? They're much more likely to then make that decision and say, yes, I'm in. Okay, and that's why you need to understand who your buyer is. So what's a big fallacy within the industry, and what unfortunately a lot of the sourcing trainers, not all of them, because there's some really good ones out there, you know, but there's also some really, really sharky ones out there. And obviously I know who you're working with, and, you know, good guy. So, you know, he comes with the right approach in terms of how everything works. So the biggest thing you need to do is build that relationship with those people. You know, people go, oh, well, I've got 50,000 people in my database I'm selling deals to. It's like, well, nobody really cares, because the reality, out of those 50,000, you're lucky if 0.1% of them actually buy anything. Okay, I would much rather have 10 good people rather than 1,000 not good people. Okay, because those 10 good people, those 10 people I've built a relationship with, I've got trust with, you know, I can give them a call and go, hey, look, I've got a really good deal, you need to buy it. I can honestly say, I would say 90% of the deals that I now sell, and I don't tend to sell many deals anymore, but 90% of the deals I was selling a year ago as well, while I was still doing a lot of the sales myself, I'd be dropping a message going, hey, I've got this deal that's come over my table, you should buy it. And they would go, okay, cool, no worries. What is it? I go, well, look, here's the link, send the money, I'll send you the details in the morning. Okay, cool, money's sent, send it when you get a chance. The vast majority of the people that I would sell deals to would be buying the deals without even having a clue what it is, because they trusted my opinion on it, as opposed to worrying too much about the nuts and bolts of the deal. And I also knew, if then when I send them the deal, if they look at the deal, they go, look, this isn't really for me, I would say, okay, no problems, send me your bank details, I'll send the funds back. Okay, and that's how it works. That's always how it works. It always became a really good basis on trust and relationship. So it's less about packaging the deal up for them. It's more about packaging the deal up for their need and understanding what it is they actually need, as opposed to what it is they want. And I think that's the biggest thing and that's the biggest place where most deal sources go wrong. Hopefully that answers your question, by the way, Martin. Really, really good question. Okay. But yeah, you can always give them the site and let them scroll a little bit, which is always quite nice for some people. They like to have a scroll and see what's available. And look, there's many buyers who will buy stuff and we never have to speak to them. You know, they just all of a sudden, reservation done. But please understand that that is few and far between in comparison to the relationships that you build with people. So for me, my biggest suggestion is build relationships, have conversations, do the coffees, do the lunches, do that stuff, because it pays off in oodles by doing so. It's much more about becoming a trusted confidant or a trusted advisor to a person. And that's the approach you want to take. And look, you know, I'm the property guy. I've access to a whole bunch of deals. I can help you build your financial future, but obviously you just have to let me. Okay. And building that relationship. Really good question, man. Honestly, really good question. Thank you. Okay, so in terms of any other questions, sorry, I'm mindful of time. I'll try and keep these calls relatively concise to an hour, because I have had some people say, oh, it goes on too long, I struggle to stay on and I feel like I'm missing too much. So is there any other questions? I'm going to struggle to be able to go too much in depth on selling the other products, but is there any other questions you guys have? Anything else you want to know? You know, want to know how to sell this, want to know how to help with that, want to know how to guide clients, want to know how to build a client base, want to know how to build relationships, build rapport. Is there anything else you guys would like to know? And I will gladly assist in the time that we have left. I will give you guys all of those things you said. Okay, I love that. That's awesome. Thank you. I will struggle to be able to give you all of that in the next 5 minutes, but look, we've got a whole bunch of training content. No worries, Rodri. Speak to you soon, man. Will we list rent-to-rent deals in the future? Maybe. It's not really our thing, but maybe. Depends on the deals, depends on the client. Unfortunately, some of those contracts are a little bit loose and airy, but maybe. It's definitely a conversation early on. Thank you. In terms of best ways to sort of build relationships and build rapport, I mean, we used to run workshops on this stuff that would last 2 or 3 days just on each individual item. So it's kind of hard to give you everything to mice in a very short space of time. I suppose the best thing to do is always be open, honest, and fair in all of your conversations. Try and match the other person in terms of how they speak, the cadence they speak, the way in which they act, the way in which they talk, the way in which they present themselves. Try and match that anytime you spend time with them. So if someone's really excited and they talk really high pitched and they talk really fast and all, you know, then you should try and match their cadence. And you go, hey man, how you doing? How you been? And you're basically trying to match their cadence. So this is called, in the NLP terminology, it's called mirroring and matching, where you're trying to create a rapport by enabling somebody to feel like you are very similar to them. Okay, so us as human beings, if you want to take it back to the primal days, we crave to be to fit in. This is how we work as people in general. And then when we don't fit in, we feel an unease. There's an interesting conversation. So my daughter's just been diagnosed with autism and ADHD, and she's really struggling with the whole fitting in conversation. And basically it's because she's trying to put an external persona, what we call a mask. So she's trying to put on an external persona to match other people and who they are in her network, her peer group. And she's struggling to be able to maintain that, and therefore is now emotionally having a bit, like her emotions are breaking down a little bit while she goes through this adjustment process of realizing that you can't live a persona, you have to be who you truly are in the world. Now, whenever you're operating with sort of building relationships, what you need to do is you need to wear that persona for the period of time you're with that person to create the rapport, that relationship, so they can feel you're like them. Now, in the future, you'll be able to adjust back into who you are naturally as a person, but it's a great way to initially build that rapport and create the foundations of the relationship to show, look, we are similar. Because the reality is us as human beings are in general very similar, but just because we don't project ourselves in the same way as somebody else, people may feel like we're not. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to wear the correct mask for that person for that period of time to create the initial relationship where you can both then remove your mask, because everybody wears a mask in public. I don't mean physically, I mean emotionally. You want to essentially create that sort of scenario where you can both feel comfortable taking off that mask and both feel comfortable being who you are, but that takes time. So what you do is you match the mask that they're wearing to create that trust and faith and bond at the beginning. That's sort of the easiest way in which I can sort of give you the initial bit. When do I have these trainings? So I don't really anymore. It's now more of a personal one-to-one. So that forms part of the mastermind conversation. So we'll be working on the masterminds of relationship building, bond building, rapport building, sales, negotiation. There's a whole array of stuff that we do as part of the mastermind. But like I say, that's relatively new. We haven't launched it yet. We will be launching that very, very soon. And if you're interested, then obviously get yourself registered. It's like $100 a month, super cheap initially. And we're doing that just to essentially just fill up the first mastermind. And yeah, it gives you guys a chance to come and join for a very, very low price, and us a chance to build our mastermind group nice and quick. So if that's something you guys are interested in, then obviously do reach out. We're more than happy to sort of get you registered and signed up, and we can start to work together. But that sort of gives you a little bit of a feel in terms of the rapport building. I mean, there's a whole, like I say, I could literally speak for days on this topic, because this is the world that I live in. And I've done a lot of work on this. I've done a lot of work on presenting. I spent an obscene amount of money on learning how to be a professional presenter, how to present myself, how to be able to ask questions, engage the audience, create the relationships, how to negotiate, how to sell. And I did a lot of spending and a lot of learning, ensuring that I became very proficient at this. So I'm not a natural people person. I'm not an extrovert. I'm actually a lot more of an introvert, but I present myself as an extrovert in the world because that's what I know works in terms of where I'm at. But if you ask my wife, I'm a bit more of an introvert. You know, we go out in general day public, you know, I'll say hello and the niceties, but I like to keep myself to myself in general. But yeah, so yeah, it's one of those things I've had to learn, and these are skills to acquire as opposed to come naturally to some of us. And yeah, and I love to teach. So yeah, if you want to know, please do come down to the networking event. So next Monday, obviously we're running our event. Please do come down. I would love to see you. Obviously, if you can't make it in person, honestly, it's not a problem. But yeah, it's been a true pleasure chatting with you guys. For those of you that are not white label partners and you would like to be a white label partner, whitelabelproperty.com, click get started, fill in the form, and away you go. If you would like to speak to me or one of the team and have a conversation a bit more about a bespoke conversation, how we can help you, you know, if you're running a networking event, or if you're running a coaching program or anything that's a little bit bigger, and you think, okay, well, there's different types of ways which we work together, again, reach out. I'm more than happy to have a chat. So for me, the biggest thing is how can we work together to be able to essentially help everybody involved in the conversation. So whether it's sellers, whether it's buyers, whether it's, you know, clients needing to use stuff, whether it's partners, you know, whatever it is, I want to make sure that everybody wins. So if there's anything I can do to help you, I guarantee you at some point it will always come back around. And that's why I'm, you know, very, very keen to help people, as opposed to what I used to do, which is charge people a lot of money for coaching and training, which I don't do anymore. So yeah, thank you very much, by the way, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Hope you got a lot of value from the conversation. I look forward to seeing many of you guys next Monday here in London, Victoria. I think it runs from 6 till 7. For those of you that I do not see on that at that event, maybe you're a little bit further away or you're just busy on the day, please drop me a note. Would love to see you on the next webinar if we can. Content does change every single webinar. It'll be running here at London, Victoria. If you're in our database, you'll receive a whole bunch of information. If you're not, go to my property marketplace, just register on the site. We'll have your contact details. You'll start to receive the information there. Or white label property, click get started, fill in the form. Again, you'll receive all the content there. But honestly, guys, it's been truly a pleasure. Hopefully you guys got a lot of value, and I look forward to seeing many of you guys in the future, or speaking to you on the phone, or however else we may partner in the future. I look forward to that day. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening. Bye.